Welcome to the Cast and Camo podcast, where we talk about hunting, fishing, and all things outdoors. Grab your fishing rod, put on your favorite camo, or just sit back and enjoy this week's topic. Cast and Camo begins now.
Hello, hello. What's up, Eric? Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, Todd. How's everyone?
To chat. Sarah gives hard hands already. I can't do the hard hands.
Yeah,
That's for Buzzard.
You got to put your thumbs like offset.
Offset,
Then you
like
can
that?
make. Yeah. Now you got it. Now it looks like you got a little. Yeah, you got it.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Don't ever say I can't do hard hands again, Buzzard. Because I can. Clearly. Anywho, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a week, hasn't it?
No,
Hot.
it's been 2.
2 weeks. That's right. Holy
Yeah.
smokes, we're getting old.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of us is. I'm still young at heart, I think.
Okay. Well,
But yeah,
I'm
we
young
had
at heart.
Father's Day, so I was kind of busy and you were busy. You've got 18 kids.
24.
By the way, hi Rachel. But yeah, it was Father's Day was kind of a day to go off and do things with our family. And then you had surgery last week, so I wasn't expecting you to be able to talk.
Yeah.
So we kind of took that last week off.
Let me talk a little bit. So I did stream Friday night and Saturday and talked, but I probably shouldn't have. But it's all right. It's better now.
Yeah.
I'm
So
ready.
when you mentioned that the doctor said you could start talking a little,
Yeah.
let me explain for everybody how that went for Eric. He woke up at about 5:30. He went into a Discord and started talking, and then streamed for twice, and then joined Discord again and talked until like 10:30. So when the doctor said you could start talking a little bit, he went and talked for 14 hours straight and did not stop because he had 4 days piled up.
Did not.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I would do the same thing when you got that much to say and you can't talk for 4 days. I thought maybe you were going to make plot Pam in the truck and make her go for a long drive with you just to hear you talking for 4 hours straight. You know, honey, you haven't listened to me talk all week. Guess what we're going to do? We're going for a Sunday cruise. Let's go. Right?
Sunday cruise.
That's right. Anywho, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad everything turned out well.
Yes.
I'm
Turned out
pretty
great.
sure you feel the same way, I would guess.
Oh, yes. I'm relieved.
So just curious, are they going to take out the other one or are they going to leave it there?
Well, they couldn't remove Joker. He's still there on the right side.
Oh, okay. So they got rid of Ozzy and they kept Joker.
They got rid of Ozzy and they kept Joker.
One of them had to go. I'm sure they did paper, rock, scissors. And we all know how Joker's luck is. So apparently he won. Oh, well.
So what are we doing this week? What do we got? I mean, do we want to do some announcements here first? You know, and
Yeah. We'll do our normal housekeeping. We got to talk about our YouTube.
yeah.
That's where all of our videos get posted after we're done streaming live on Twitch under Cast and Camo every Sunday night, unless we post otherwise at 7 p.m. Central. We post to YouTube under Cast and Camo TV. So if you haven't gone to YouTube to subscribing on YouTube is different than Twitch. Subscribing on YouTube is free. So you can do that. Subscribe, like, and comment, as everybody says on the YouTubers. They do that, and then you're supposed to go and subscribe and like and make comments on our videos. To talk about that a little bit, I was texting with Jamie, who was our previous guest, Chick of the Woods, and I said, hey, I would love to know. I always ask people afterwards if their friends or family have watched their episode, and if so, if they have comments, questions, concerns, the 3 Qs. And Jamie said, when did it, she said, I didn't even know it was aired. And I was like, Jamie, we aired it. We air things right away, right after we're done, man. I'm uploading. It takes a few hours, but you can go check it out. She didn't even know her episode was out there and live. So I sent her right to YouTube. I said, do you even remember the name of the show? And she laughed and said, yes, she did. And then she called me Bob. So pretty sure that means she was paying attention.
Before.
What's that?
I said, haven't I called you Bob before by accident?
I'm not your uncle.
Oh, well.
Bob's your uncle. Isn't that the saying? Bob's your uncle. I'm not your uncle. I could be. I could be your son-in-law. Hi, Rachel.
No.
I love that it riles you up. So I have to do it. But anyway, check us out on YouTube, Cast and Camo TV. You can also find Cast and Camo every week on Apple Podcast, Apple iTunes Podcast, and Spotify Podcast. We're on all of the platforms and SoundCloud. So if you can't catch us on Twitch each Sunday night, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, and you can listen back to all the episodes. They're all great. Or you can check us out on the website, www.castandcamotv.com, where you can see the last 12 episodes. We'll probably add a couple links to get to the rest of the episode at some point. You can also see Chief live through our website. When he's live on our website as well. You can check out our merch store. We've got merch. It's pretty nice. I've got merch. I've got Cast and Camo merch all over the place. As a matter of fact, I just gave my dad for Father's Day. I gave my dad a Cast and Camo windbreaker jacket.
Oh gosh,
he loved it. It was great. It's a nice jacket.
Then
I suppose we should talk about our sponsors. Of course, we've got Texas Select Seasonings, Cast and Camo in all caps to get your 15% off discount. We're still working through the technical difficulties of shipping to Canada for the giveaway that we did. So Pit Bully, haven't forgotten about you. We're working through getting that shipped to Canada. And hopefully we'll have an answer soon. I know we've been kind of going back and forth with Wild Bill. He's got it there. He's got it ready. We're just trying to figure out how to get it across the border. So stay tuned, Pit Bully. And congratulations again for winning our first. And by the way, this has gone maybe our only giveaway ever. You never know, right? Who knows? Of course, then we have Deer 30, our other big discount, Cast and Camo 24 to get 24% off. Exclamation point Deer 30 to check their website out if you're in our chat. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is down below. Same with Texas Select Seasonings. I think it's exclamation point BBQ in our Twitch chat. And Texas Select Seasonings website link will also be down below on YouTube. And then finally, of course, Sea Arc Boats, the big sponsor. We get 99% off if you used code. I think what is our code there? Code Extra Sexy, I think is the code. Or you have to pay more if you do code Alex Nagy. I think then you have to pay extra. I think it's like an extra 5% fee or something like that. But look, I don't make the rules, Eric.
No,
right? We don't make the rules. We just follow them.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So I already kind of talked about what we did last week, which was 3 weeks ago tonight, which was Jamie, Chick of the Woods, and a fun little factoid about Jamie. I just booked her yesterday for a private family event on the land that I go hunting on. So she's going to come out and do a private event for us on like the end of August. So that'll be fun. Everybody's excited. I'm excited to learn more about the stuff that's on the land that I hunt on. So that'll be cool. And I have it's not a date. It's not a date, but I have a date, but it's not a date. Does that make sense? I wouldn't do that to Rachel. I'm meeting up with her at the end of July, and I think we're going to she promised to make me some mushrooms, and I promised to try them. And I'm already nervous. It's over a month away, and I'm already nervous. I don't like trying new things, Eric. And mushrooms scare me. Like I'm fearful that she's going to try to poison me. Like as a practical joke, like this one's edible, trust me. And then I'm going to eat it. And I'll either see trolls on trains and purple clouds, maybe. Maybe that's what she's going to do. She's going to give me the hallucinogenic mushrooms just as a joke.
You'll be fine.
We'll see.
You'll be fine.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to like mushrooms. Maybe that's what I'm afraid of. If we're going to psychoanalyze this, maybe I'm afraid of the fact that I might actually like mushrooms.
Well, I love them. What? I love morel mushrooms. You'll be fine. What kind of mushrooms she going to do for you?
I don't know. We'll find out when we get there. I have no idea what kind of mushrooms we're going to run into, but we'll see. It'll be an adventure. I've been opening, like we talked about this on that show. I've been opening my palate. You know, it started when I was 23 eating a salad for the first time. And now 7 years later, I'm going to try a mushroom.
You'll be fine.
Yep.
Trust her.
Sarah, don't put exclamation point giveaway this time. Don't do it. What's up, Walleye? What's up, Gamer? What's up, everybody in chat? Bobcat, Jeff Dran Lee, Chief Fox, Vexus. Thanks for that tier 3 for 7 months. He's our best viewer. He's our top.
Ozzy, Soggy.
Yep, Soggy. We got all the clowns in tonight.
Soggy doesn't check his messages at all in Discord, does he?
No, he actually sent me a text and he said, "Hey, Eric's been sending me texts and I'm purposely ignoring them." So
is that what he said?
Yeah, but he said, "Don't tell him." So I didn't tell you. That's what he told me. So don't tell him that I've been ignoring him purposely.
But I had to rely on Walleye today, which I can rely on him, you know.
You should, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I would I would rather. Nope, they're all great. I take any of their advice, honestly. You really can't go wrong. And I'm not gonna. The reason I'm trying to be ambiguous because we're talking about a certain topic, and I don't know, whatever. Everybody that you've mentioned is more than satisfactory to answer questions from Ryan.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Here's the thing. Soggy just now sent me a thing and said, "Oh, I just seen the message. I'm sorry, my basement's flooded."
Basement's flooded again? What? It's like we've been getting a lot of rain up here or something.
Yeah, I heard it hasn't rained at all up there in Minnesota.
No. I'm just excited. My 8 inches of water in my backyard is now down to like 2. It's slowly going away. I had to dig a trench, but it was worth it.
Your lakes ought to be nice and full.
They are. We're so far off topic, but we don't have a guest tonight. We're just kind of free falling it anyway. But there's an absolute 8 inches of what? Yeah, 8 inches of standing water, Gamer. There's up by Duluth, Minnesota, which is an absolute gorgeous part of the country. There are some like backwoods paths and these creeks that with waterfalls, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But I saw some pictures this past weekend, and it looks like the mighty Mississippi going down these little creeks. They're not supposed to have that much water flowing, but geez. Anywho,
Yeah,
So next week, I'm hoping we're going to get Andrea back. Andrea from Her Wilderness, going all the way back to the reason I first reached out to her before I even knew she was a part of Her Wilderness was for her. She's an instructor for gun safety. So I'm trying to get her back on, and she thought next week will work, but I won't know until probably Monday or Tuesday if next week will work for her. If not, we're going to try to find some others. Otherwise, we're back to on the hunt. If y'all have ideas and you have people that would be a good guest, by all means, send those suggestions our way. I'm that annoying person that sends out random messages to people and just wait to hear back from them. But a lot of good ideas coming up.
I just sent you a picture of Soggy's basement he sent to me. I figured you'd want to see what his basement looks like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'd say you got a problem there, Soggy. Might want to go get a sump pump. You know, like a 1.5 horse sump pump. I think that would take care of the problem right there.
Hi, JB. Hi, Banana.
What's up, boys? Again, going back to YouTube or the podcast on Spotify and Apple, if you guys are listening or watching there and you want to be part of the fun, and come on into Twitch on Sunday nights and hop in the chat. I'm getting an I have to pause because I feel like something's happening. Oh. No. All right, so this week, no guess, but you've been shopping for a boat.
Yes, I've been shopping for a boat.
So with the combination of you shopping for a boat, and I don't know a better way to phrase it other than the troubles that a friend of ours had trying to get my boat onto the trailer a couple weeks back, I thought it might be a good idea to have the topic tonight be loading and unloading boats. Okay, yes. Thank you, Pitbull's brother. Please send us the correct address.
I've got it right now. He just sent it to me.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Well, then I'm glad Bill hasn't sent it out yet. And maybe that's the trouble that he's running into, but that it's not coming back as a good address. I'm not sure. But anywho, we've all watched the videos. Everyone that's been fishing or fishing for a while, we've all watched the videos. And people loading and unloading boats at the boat ramp is some of the best entertainment that you'll find. You know, and I joke because I tell people I could watch kids fall off bikes all day long. And I could. It's funny to me. And as a matter of fact, this morning I watched a short video from Instagram of kids running around in a mirror maze. If you haven't seen kids running around in a mirror maze and running face first into a mirror and the parents laughing at them, you have to watch it. It's pretty funny. But people backing in boat trailers or trailers to load and unload a boat is up there as one of the top pastimes. And there's also a video somewhere, I forget if it's on Facebook, Reels, Instagram, TikTok, somewhere. Recently, I just saw this short video. It's like a group, Eric, of like mid-20-year-old dudes. They go to a boat landing and they have their lawn chairs and coolers. And they're sitting on the side of the boat ramp. And they've got those big, long plastic tubes that people bring to like baseball games or whatever, and they bang them together and they make a bunch of noise. They've all got 2 of those in their hands, and they're sitting there clanking these things together, making all sorts of noise and hooting and hollering and cheering these people on that are backing their boats in. And it clearly takes the effect that they're looking for. They freak out, they get super nervous, and then they get super pissed because they're making them even more nervous. Then you've got the seasoned veterans going by laughing, going, "You can't faze me." And to me, it was funny because I don't think it would faze me. Now, how about you? I would assume you're pretty confident in backing in a boat trailer at this point in your career.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So I think you would fall into that same category of, if there's a group of 12 dudes with air horns and cheering, it's not going to really bother you that much.
No,
And I don't think it would bother me either. But 20 years ago, I think different story. I was new to it. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. So every trip to the boat landing was high anxiety for me. And I say that because I think most people, not just guys, but guys and gals, most people, the first few times they're dropping off a boat or backing in the boat trailer at the boat ramp, it is very high anxiety. And I'm convinced there's two types of people. There's at the boat ramp, there's the people that see somebody struggling and they get pissed because it's taking them so long and they can't get in. And then you've got the other people are the people that see them struggling, but they understand and they're compassionate, empathetic, because we've all been there. And as experienced of boat backer-upper guys and gals that we are, you still always run into that one instance where you're in a rush and it just doesn't seem to be going that well. So everybody has been there, and I'm of the mindset of I got to help them, or if not help them, just make it so it's known that I'm not in a rush and they're not holding me up, even if they are. You know, I feel horrible. What about you?
Yeah.
Do you see it often?
I see it all the time here. I actually took you down and showed you a ramp today. And it's usually really busy. Today it was not. I think because we had the rain and it's overcast and it was kind of crappy all day. But yeah, that's backing in a boat, I think, is probably the most stressful thing a person new can go through. Because as soon as they jackknife the boat one time, then their level of confidence is gone.
Yeah.
And their adrenaline goes through the roof. And what I did, and I was taught this when I went through the academy, was we took like 12 different boats that the state owned, and we went out to a school and we set up a course, a road course, and a parking area and a backing area where we had to back a boat the entire way around the school. The entire way we had to back the boat. And I'm going to tell you what, you ought to have seen the fun. But then I taught my children the same way. We went to a school and I set up cones and had them learn how to back a boat in. And they're all really good at it now. So it's, I think if you don't do it at the boat ramp the first time, you should take your family members or whatever to a school or someplace there's a huge parking lot where no one's going to bother you, and let them just keep backing the boat. They will learn it a lot quicker than going to the boat ramp and trying to do it there.
And it's funny that you said that, because I spent 30 minutes of my day today watching one video on YouTube, and I just posted it in our Discord, our main general chat in Discord. This dude is either the dumbest guy or the most stubborn guy or the most brilliant person that I've ever seen. I'm pretty sure it's not the last, but it took him. I don't want to ruin it. People are going to watch it. I'm just going to, spoiler alert, I think it's a 25 or 30 minute video, and it's all about one boat trying to get into the water the entire time. And when you said back around the building, this guy, he was so turned around that he literally just started backing up in circles to get the boat back to where he wanted it. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I give the guy a ton of credit, because the dude filming it, of course, is laughing at him. And I don't condone laughing. This is the type of situation where I would want to help, or at least say, because the one guy actually goes over and tries to help him, and the guy's like, I don't want your help. I want to figure this out on my own. And I 100% respect that, because it's really the only way you can get better is doing it over and over again. So I felt bad for the dude, but I can also understand how he wanted to just learn by his own mistakes, but it was 25 minutes of mistakes. Fantastic. It's a great watch. I posted it in Discord, ! Discord. If you guys aren't, Sarah's already put it in there. Thank you, Sarah. But when you're backing up a boat trailer, are you using how I'm going to back up? No pun intended. Is there a certain side that you would rather back up from? Like coming in from the right and turning right to back up, or coming in from the left and turning left and then backing up? I'm a left guy.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm good with, I'm pretty good with, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pat my own back, but I'm pretty good with backing in a boat. It doesn't matter which way I go in with it. I mean, I can pull in, swing into the bottom of a boat ramp and be actually completely not even straight up and down and just swing it and back it right into the water. You know, where now when I first started, I wasn't able to do that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, where I ran into problems was once I become a conservation officer, we used to sit at boat ramps on Labor Day, Memorial Day. And I'm going to tell you what, there's been nothing like, and I said then, if I ever have kids, I'm going to teach them way ahead of time before we even go to that boat ramp, because there's nothing like pulling into a boat ramp and seeing 24 boats lined up waiting on you to back your boat in because you didn't take time to go with your child or your wife or whoever and teach them how to back a boat up. Now you want to learn on Memorial Day when there's everyone your brother there. And that ain't cool.
No, and the nice thing about the video that I posted, I think it's the middle of the week, middle of the day. There's nobody there, right? So if he truly was there practicing, kudos to him for going when it's completely dead.
Right.
Because like you're saying, a lot of people don't do that. And I would personally, like, my wife does not know how to back up the boat. It's a goal I'm going to teach her, because as we were talking about either today or yesterday, it's just so much easier with two people, right? And you can do it with one, and it can be done. And it can be done, you know, smoothly, but two people definitely helps. So the goal is to make sure that she knows how to do it. And I would never pull up to a boat landing and be like, let's go, do it, try it. First of all, she would look at me and do one of those, and I would know better. But yeah, it's not the place to learn. We're going to do the same. We're going to go to the school on a weekend when there's no cars there, and I'm going to go find some orange cones and say, here's where you're trying to get to. And it's important.
You can take a bunch of gallon water jugs too and do the exact same thing. You know, put a little bit of water in them where the wind won't blow them. Yeah. Set them up, because if she hits them, you don't want to put something out there like wood or something like that you're going to hit and damage your boat. Just put something that they can actually run over, because it's going to happen. I remember when Brian was learning, his hardest part was backing between 6 cones that I had lined up to keep it straight. And I think that's where everyone's problem when they first start is keeping that trailer straight.
Yeah, there's a lot of overcompensating on the turning of the wheels, and and speed. When I'm in no hurry, man. Like, even when I pull up to the boat landing, if you're just whipping it back there, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to overcompensate. It's a lot easier to overcompensate when you're going faster. So line it up, take your time, back up. I'm a lefty, so I can do both, but I much prefer coming from the left-hand side and turning left and then backing up.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know why. I can do both. And
I've never really thought of it, which side because I never really paid attention to that.
Well, I think for me, it's because my mirror on the left-hand side is closer and easier to look out than turning my head totally to the right and looking out my other mirror. I can do it. It's just I'm not as confident. That's
Right.
all.
Right. Well,
Do you use your side mirrors or your overhead mirror?
I use my side mirrors all the time. I've always driving tractors on farms and that you just get used to using them side mirrors. And it kind of fell into play with me my whole life is using. You got to use them. But one thing they used to do to us in the academy, they would only take them jugs or the cones and put them a foot away from the wheels. A foot. That's all they gave us, a foot on each side. So if you're backing up and you run over one, that's fine. But they want you between them. And the tighter that is, they say it makes you better on backing that boat trailer up. You may have a while there with your wife, your kids, or whatever, but I think they'll do better in the long run if you take them to a school and do it instead of taking them out in front of public and embarrassing them. Because, I mean, Pam, when she first backed our boat in, when I bought our first boat when we were married, she was so mad at me. And I'm trying to talk. There was no one waiting for us. And she was trying to back the boat in, and it kept jackknifing on her. and I was trying to be as calm as I could with her because we were there just to do it. But she just couldn't understand to turn left to go right or right to go left. She just couldn't get that down pat in her head.
Yep.
So
it takes a little bit of time. So if you pull up to a boat ramp and there's, you know how it is. You pull up to the boat ramp and there might be one or two boats in front of you that the DNR is checking, and you get your shit ready, and then all of a sudden there's 5, 6, 7 boats behind you. Do you ever get nervous anymore at all?
No,
Never.
No, hell no.
For me, it's like going through the security line at the airport.
Is that right?
Yeah. If I'm assessing who is all there, I can tell the businessmen and women and the families with the young kids that have no clue what they're doing. I have to go away from the one. So depending on who I'm dealing with. So if I turn back around and I see 8 guys with $90,000 boats and they're professionals, they've got everything wrapped and sponsored, my ticker starts going a little bit, even though I'm confident, but it's still like, better not fuck this one up, because you got a lot of professionals behind you looking at you. And it doesn't really bother me, but it is kind of gets stuck in my head a little bit. But if I turn around and I see Grandpa with his 3 grandkids, and I'm like, oh, we're good. He's going to take forever. He's in no hurry. So I don't have to be in a hurry either.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Big Anthony just made a good point. If you have a wife or a child that backs your boat in that's having problems, back your own boat all the way down to where you can take it almost off the hook. You know what I mean? And then let them get in the boat, in the truck, and back it up a foot for you to be able to launch. That would be my suggestion. But a lot of guys don't. They jump right in the back of the boat, and then they expect their wife or their kid or their husband to back that thing all the way down into the boat. And that ain't. If you got someone there that knows what they're doing, let them get it clear to the water instead of embarrassing that person.
I got to read what Gamer typed in our chat. I learned hand at the bottom of the wheel, then turn the way you want the boat to go. I'm taking a screenshot of that because I don't think I ever learned that, but it sounds like it's great advice that I'm going to use at some point. So I'm taking a screenshot right meow.
Yeah, well, that is true. Gamer's
I never
right
thought
on
of it that way. I wasn't taught that way, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
that's right.
Well, one thing we used to run into, like on the Ohio River, some of the reservoirs that I used to work at, Lake Erie, we would have a bunch of people coming in. And if you get too many people there, that's where the screw ups really start happening, because people get nervous.
Yep.
They forget to take the straps off the back of the boat, and that's what I thought was happening today when I was down there at the boat.
Yeah.
When you back the boat into the water, you ought to be able to see the ass end pick up a few inches and start to float. And when they don't, them straps are, and I'll be sitting back in the patrol vehicle and see them backing up and the boat not lifting, and then the guy says, back up more, and then all of a sudden water goes over the back of the boat, over the transom, right into the boat.
Yep.
Because it's still strapped down, and then you have a real mess. Or they forget to put the plug in.
Always.
And one thing I always did with the plugs on all my boats, in the state boats, is when I would pull the boat up, put it on the trailer, I'd pull the plug. And even if I didn't get no water, I left the plug out until I got the boat up into the parking spot. Then I would go back and stick the plug back in and plug it in. So that plug was always in there,
We can't do that.
Wait, why? What do you mean you can't do it?
We can't drive a boat anywhere here without the plug out completely. It's not legal to drive around. Huh?
On your trailer?
If the plug's in the boat, you mean? Or you just attach it to the trailer?
No. What I was saying is, when I pull the boat out of the water on the trailer, I pull the plug and let it drain if there's any water in the boat.
Yeah.
And then when I get up to the trailer spot and go to strap it all down, then I put the plug back in and lock it into place, so I never forget that plug. Yeah. Because I see a lot of guys take it and throw it in their glove box.
Yep.
And
I put it in the glove box of the boat. We can't drive a boat anywhere with a plug in it. The plug has to be out.
Even while you're driving it down the highway?
Yep. Because when you pull that boat out, you have to have that plug taken out. A little thing called invasive species. They don't want you bringing water from one lake to another by accident. So when we pull out, we have to, that sounded awful. When we pull the boats out, you have to lower the motor to let all the water drain out. You have to pull the plug. Plug stays out. And a lot of them now, and Walleye is agreeing, a lot of them will have little pads where you have to do a power wash before you can even leave.
Well, that's because of your invasive mussels. Your zebra mussels,
Eurasian milfoil, you name it. I was about to make a really bad joke. I'm glad I stopped myself. We're like the Charlie Sheen of states. We have all the STDs with invasive species. You name it, we've got it. And cream doesn't help. Zebra mussels, I think we've tried that already.
Now, we always did it. We would pull the plug, pull up, then put the plug back in. Now, you can put it in your, but what I've found is a lot of people get in a hurry, back the boat in, the plug's out, and then their boat starts filling up with water. And then you see someone diving in the lake to put their plug back in the boat. And all they need to do is really pick that boat up on plane. Is the quickest thinking. If your boat's sinking, pick it up on plane with that plug out, and it's going to drain that boat.
Yeah.
And it'll drain it quick too.
And then when you get off of the lake or the river, go to your nearest Cabela's and get a new bilge pump and install it.
No, but if you do that, you can actually, and then when you shut the motor down, you can actually put your plug into the boat then, and you won't have as much water, because by the time you notice it, usually half that back of that boat's full of water.
How many times have you left the plug out and backed in?
One.
I think I'm at 2.
I did it one time, and I know I did it with a state boat one time.
That's state money.
Yeah, but I had an emergency, but a boat got hit with a barge on the Ohio River just below Swickley, PA. And I left at 2 o'clock in the morning, jumped in the boat. Some other officer had it didn't put the plug in it, and I had to back the boat in, and I took off. And of course, I didn't notice it until I got there at the rescue scene. And then I look back, and I'm standing in like that much water. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I never did it again after that.
I think I'm at 2. But I want to go back to what you just said. First of all, did you say a boat got hit by a barge?
Oh, yeah. We used to all the time.
What?
Well,
how can you not see a barge coming right at you? It's not like they're going 90 miles an hour.
All right, so you'll have fishermen go out there on the river at 2 midnight after dark, and they're out there fishing and they fall asleep. And maybe they don't have their lights on. And then you got a barge coming up that's completely dark, and they don't see it, and they run right over top of the boat. We've had that happen so many times.
But if you're sitting in that boat, you can't. There's no way you can't hear that barge coming.
No, not if you're asleep. That barge can creep right. That barge can sneak right up on you.
I'm envisioning. I think it's Austin Powers where he's standing in front of the steamroller, big roller thing, and he's like, "No, stop!" And he's just standing there waiting for it.
Yeah, we used to have a lot of accidents with barges. So even in the daytime, you have jet skis going around the barges, trying to jump their wakes, go in front of them, get too close, and get sucked underneath. I mean,
well, you can't be stupid.
Yeah, you have a lot of people that do stupid stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, getting a little off topic, even though it's kind of all one and the same. How many times have you tried to launch your boat with the strap still on? That one is my worst one.
No, I don't think I have.
You haven't? I think I'm at like 5 or 6 doing that.
Is that right?
Yeah. I get too comfortable. Then I'm like, boom, just,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what happens a lot. Yeah. And usually the only reason I think I make sure the plug's in, and I use the tilt on the back of the boat when I walk around the back of the boat to check it before I launch. I'll lift that motor up to where I think should be the proper angle. So I'm looking at everything in the back, and that's the only reason I think I haven't done it.
Well, and hi, Luna.
Yeah, sorry.
I think, no, you're good. I think most of the times where I have backed in and the straps were not released was times where I was the one in the truck and I had other people that were responsible for doing those things and didn't do those things. I think out of the 5 or 6 times I've done it, I would say 4 or 5 have been that situation. With the Drado system, we'll talk about that hopefully in the future, but with the Drado system, launching and loading is made so much easier, unless you're Joker, that I don't have much to do to get ready. When you're, and a gamer mama's making the comments about having the lanes outside the boat ramp to undo all of that. Yeah. But before I had the Drado, I was always scared that the boat was going to slide off the bunks. Always one of my biggest fears, especially if you're on a very steep landing. So I would always keep those straps in there as long as I could. But now with the Drado, it's you unhook everything and then you just back it in and just lift the lever and you're off. It's so much easier. One
of the other things I want to mention that I see a lot of people is when they're cranking that boat up and they get it underneath the rubber wheel. I see that happen because of the way their trailer is in the water. They're not in far enough, or they're too far in, and they just have so much troubles with doing that. They're just not. Once you learn to back a boat in and you see where your wheel wells are in the water, you should always keep a photo mind of that. And then you're usually pretty good every time you do it.
Yeah, and I admitted to you that was when I was fishing and streaming with Joker and Buzzard and Spear. That was the downfall for Joker trying to load my boat. I was backed in too far. And part of it was about a 90 to 75 degree angle on that hill. which didn't make it any easier. And you had to back in between two cabins that were 6 inches off the path. But I went in a little too far, and then he started coming in, and I couldn't help it. I knew, and I was trying to tell him to back up, but I think he was A, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so he wasn't really paying attention, and B, it's Joker, he doesn't pay attention anyway. And C, I think he was so focused on getting that right to get it on the Dorado that he was just laser focused and wasn't really seeing anything else. So I let him go. And most of the time with the bunk trailers, it'll straighten itself out. Right. And all you got to do is give a little gas and it'll pop right up and latch right into the Dorado. But this time he was looking to the left. I think he was looking at the lever, lining up to the lever rather than the actual middle, and drove way too far left. But I was definitely too far in. And once I pulled up, I mean, it's a matter of 6 inches makes a big deal. I hear it all the time. You were supposed to laugh at that joke. You know, sometimes, but for serious, if you pull forward 6 inches, that can make a world of difference. And that's all I had to do. And it took him a couple of tries. But again, learning the Dorado system is a learning curve all in itself. Right. It took me a while. Greg, my friend, he still doesn't trust it. He'll drive it up and it'll lock in, and he'll look at me and I'll be like, thumbs up. And he still wants to go and hook everything all up. I'm like, no, man, just pull out. You got this.
Have you ever seen anyone be in a rush trying to get their boat on a trailer? They get it on and never hook the front and pull out and let the boat drop right on the ramp. I'm glad you asked that. I have never seen that myself. Have you? I have. Yes, I have. Yes, once I've seen it. And it was a woman, and her husband he pulled the boat up, and he never went to the front. And I was standing talking to a couple of guys with their boats, and I'm kind of watching them, and I didn't see whether he hooked it. Well, when she pulled out, she put it in gear, and the truck actually jumped, and the whole boat just sit right down on the boat ramp. So it ended up taking like 15 guys to get the boat back in the water, and then they got it on there, but that bottom of the boat was cracked like in four, and it was a fiberglass boat too. I mean, it hit pretty hard. And it cracked that bottom. So
is that the worst one you've seen?
No, I've seen actual brand new pickup trucks and the whole boat and everything still latched down in the bottom of the lake. They come down, the guy gets out of the truck with it in park, and he thinks it's in park, and then when he gets out of the truck to walk back to the boat, the whole thing goes into the ramp and into the lake. That's happened several times. I've seen that a lot.
Again, you watch the YouTube videos, and it's almost like you watch them and you're like, that can never actually happen, but it does.
Oh, it does.
It does. I've never witnessed anything bad. I think the worst one for me, was we had two boats. I had two people in my boat, and we were on a great lake, not a great lake, but a fantastic lake. Bass fishing, and we were catching the hell out of the bass, and nice ones. And this storm rolled up out of nowhere, and so every boat on the lake is rushing to get to the landing. And of course, the one guy that was the smarter one that got there first was that guy that could not back up a trailer. And we're all just sitting there circling, and we're watching the thunder and the lightning, and we're circling. And this guy is doing the Austin Powers back and forth, can't get it straight. And we were just like, again, I'm patient because I've been there. We just wanted to get off the water because of the lightning. And he finally pulled forward to a parking spot. We're like, okay, he's understanding that we're all trying to beat the storm to get off the lake, and he's going to let us. Right. But no, what does he do? And there was only one, there wasn't a double, it was just a single spot to come on and off. He unhooks the trailer, backs the trailer in by hand down into the water, kind of lines the boat up, then goes back and gets in his truck and backs his truck up. And at first, of course, there was a lot of choice words because we're watching a lightning storm about to nail us. But afterwards, I'm like, that was actually pretty smart of him. Like, I don't know that I would have thought of that, especially when there's 10, 12 boats circling trying to get off the lake. I wouldn't want to be that guy to unhook the trailer and pull it back or move it back by hand. But hey, it worked. He would have sat there for another 15 minutes had he not done that. So at least he had the wherewithal to make an adjustment and unhook his trailer. Hey, whatever works, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of, and speaking of boats and trailering and stuff, you also, I've seen, like, just a month ago, I watched a guy back in a boat. His motor was all the way down. He did not even lift his motor a little bit. And when we had all this flooding, and the mud is really heavy along all of our boat ramps right now. It's really shallow. And most of the cities are trying to clean them out right now. But this guy backs in with that motor all the way down. And then once he starts the boat, I could see mud shooting up from the back of the boat. But what's he do? He floors it in reverse. And you ought to have seen the mud and the dirt that he was spreading everywhere. And all that crap's going through his motor.
Yeah.
I don't think, and he was not, I don't want to say he wasn't smart enough. He may have been panicking not to think to lift that motor, but he actually ended up, that boat turned into the mud and stuck in the mud with that motor, and it actually shut it off. The motor started smoking and everything. So they ended up having to wade out there in that mud, and them guys were like really bad, and they were pushing that boat trying to get it out of that, and they trailered it again and left with it. So they ruined their day for fishing. Yeah. Just because he didn't think about putting that motor down or, picking the motor up to go out in the water.
Yeah. I made, when that same weekend with Joker and those guys, I made one mistake, and I've made this mistake, I think, one other time, and you'd think I would have learned my lesson, but I am a male, and we don't learn those until it happens like 5 or 6 times. I think that's the given rule. It was the first time of the year that I was putting my boat in the water, and I was confident it would start because I had started it the day before in my driveway. Not going to make that confident mistake again, because we put the trailer in, unlatch the boat, floats out. I go put the truck in the parking spot. I go back down, and I see Joker going like this. I'm like, what are you doing? Battery was dead. Well, so we thought. And so I'm like, well, shit. Now, so that's why we didn't start streaming for a lot longer than we anticipated, because we sat at the boat landing going, the hell are we going to do? And so I had to back the trailer back in. And because the boat is 8 billion pounds, the crank, like, you can only get it so far. You couldn't start the motor to drive it up, right? So we had to trying to push the boat up, and then you get it latched and you start cranking, but the weight is so great that it doesn't crank anymore. It just skips. Right. And then I'm going, well, now what do we do? I have no idea what to do. Meanwhile, now there's people waiting, and these guys are trying to go fishing. And I'm like, shit. So spit on that thing. Yeah. But we got it on enough where it was on the trailer that it wasn't going to fall out. But I tell you what, when I was pulling forward, I was nervous as shit that boat was going to slide off, even though I had it hooked with the
right,
whatever. But oh man, that is my worst nightmare coming true.
Well, I've had that happen
got it on later in the day.
Yeah, I've had that happen with people when I've helped them. I just make them back in as deep as they can, get that boat floated over to where you got the hook on. And then as a person pulls out real slow and easy, you can actually get that boat almost centered and sit down on the trailer properly. That'll kind of help you a little bit.
We put Joker up in the front of the boat. I said, get in the boat, get in the front. We need weight. We need some weight. Get up there. It didn't work. But we tried. Now, this has all been backing boats in. I kind of touched on with Joker trying to put my boat on the trailer, but for me, loading the boat on the trailer is still stressful to me, especially if there's wind. And if you're at the end of the night, you're fighting mosquitoes and you're probably fighting a bunch of other boats. So a lot of the times I'll just let the other boats go. Even if I'm getting close to the dock, I'll look behind me and I'm like, there's at least 6 boats that are going to be coming here shortly. If I'm not confident I can get on and off quick, if I see boats zooming towards the access, I'll wait. Just because it stresses me out still. And I've done it long enough where it shouldn't, but it still stresses me out.
Yeah.
Does it bother you at all? I'm sure not, because you've done it.
Not no more, but it did when I first started. Yeah, I'm sure it did. It's easy to get stressed out there. I mean, me and Ryan got caught in a tornado on the Ohio River one night, and it was crossing the river just below us. And I've never had water and waves that high on the Ohio River as that night. And it was raining and hailing so hard. And of course, I had a top on my boat, that we had, and the hail wasn't hitting us, but we were getting really hit hard. And it was so hard to see. I come up on the bank, almost hit the boat ramp, and Ryan dove off as I put the boat in reverse so he could get the truck. And he backed the truck down. And when I come up and hit that trailer, it was lucky. I know I hit that trailer really hard because there was no way with that wind pushing me that I was going to get even with that trailer. And he pulled me out of the water, and the boat was sitting like this.
Oh,
and
that's
I'm like, just keep going. I mean, there's no, we'll back it in after the storm's over.
Yeah.
But we got it out of the water and got in the truck and waited until that tornado went through. But it was, what a wild night that was, trying to get off that water that night.
Yep. You drive down the road and you always can tell, man, you can tell because you get behind somebody and that boat is kind of a little cockeyed and you're like, man, I feel your pain. I know exactly what you just went through.
Yeah. But after the storm was over, then we backed the boat back in and got the boat off and put it back on the trailer, and we were fine. But I just wanted it out of the water when that storm was coming through. There was no way I was going to get stuck out there while that thing was hitting us that hard.
Storms on the lake are no fun. And, it's different because, like, at least here in Minnesota, Walleye can attest to this, I know, because he fishes big water in Minnesota, whether it's Lake of the Woods or Mille Lacs. Like, if you're out 6, 7, 8 miles, 9 miles on a lake and a storm just, if you're not expecting it, it freaking sucks. And then you got to drive all the way back in those waves and then the rain and the wind, and then you got to try to load a boat. For me, if there are a bunch of waves, especially if the waves are coming from behind you, I almost want to just curl into the fetal position and start crying because I know it's going to be awful.
Well,
how are we keeping a straight face? We're trained professionals.
Yeah.
We don't have the dirty minds like you do, Katie.
A lot of times, though, also just talking about trailering and that is having bearing buddies on your trailer wheels. I've been there, lost bearings going on boat trips, and it just ruins your whole trip because you're spending the whole time trying to get that wheel fixed. And there ain't nothing more of a problem than having the bearings go out in one of your wheels while you're traveling.
It's awful. I've had the worst luck with trailers. Buzzard went with me. I was going to Wisconsin, actually to Michigan to fish, and halfway out there in Wisconsin, my axle goes out. So I have to pull over, find the boat dealer, gonna try to fix it. Not fixing it. Okay, so I left it there. Then like 6-7 weeks later, when it's finally ready, they had to completely rebuild the axle. Of course, it was a custom axle with special bearings. I don't even remember what they're called, but they're self-greasing. I hate them because you don't know they're bad until they actually go out, which seems asinine. Buzzard and I drive out to Wisconsin to pick up my boat. Pick it up. I'm happy. Finally got my boat. We start heading back to Minnesota. Fucking tire goes out. Just explodes. And I'm just sitting here going, I hate boats so much. I hate boats. I don't want to own a boat anymore. Because it's always trailer. There's always a problem with it. And I think my worst, that was pretty bad. But one of my worst ones was I drove up to Duluth/Two Harbors for the 4th of July. And we got there on July 3rd. And we were pumped. We were early. We get to the lake. We're going to do some fishing right away in the afternoon. I turn up, start backing up. Okay, well, now we're going to go out of the truck and we're going to undo everything, get ready to throw it in. And I'm like, what's that? What's that smell? What's burning? And I'm looking around thinking somebody's got a bonfire going or something. Like, what? I don't know. What's burning? And I look down, you kind of like, it's like a sniffing dog. You finally get to the spot. And I look down and my wheel is like almost on fire because I just pulled it up 3.5 hours on the freeway and the bearing was completely shot. And I'm like, well, okay, we got to try to fix this. Can't go anywhere. And it's July 3rd at 3 or 4 o'clock. And we drive into Duluth or Two Harbors, and it was Two Harbors, and trying to find a part. And I find a guy, but he's like, I don't have this. And there was an old dude at the, he had the part. The guy in town had the part, but I didn't have the tools. And the guy wasn't giving me tools. Like, you would never give anybody your tools. They're hundreds of dollars. So the old guy, and when I say old, I'm talking this dude was pushing 90. And he was there and he was watching us. And he's like, I have tools, but I don't have the part. I'm like, okay, well, can we use your tools? Like, could you go to your house, bring some tools? I'll go into town and get the part. And what the hell did I have to give him? And not that I blame him, but I think I had to give him like every ounce of cash I had, which was like $200. I think I gave him my driver's license, like as collateral, because he didn't want me to steal his tools. And like, where am I going? I can't go anywhere. I can't steal your tools. And again, he was like 90, and I'm trying to remember his nickname. It was something like Pork Chop or some like a nickname that you would picture some guy, like big dude, big goatee on a Harley. That's the nickname he had. And it was just so weird. So anyway, make a long story longer, he goes, gets the tools. I get the part. We're there trying to fix. Luckily, I am not mechanical. Luckily, one of my friends is electrician, so he at least can handle tools. But once we got it fixed, I had to go back to Pork Chop's house and drop off his tools and get my cash and my driver's license back. And now by that time, it's like 10, 11 o'clock, and he's already had 3 naps and getting up for breakfast. You know how that life goes. That's kind of the life you live, right?
Yeah. I wish. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is traveling with your boat. Because if you don't take care of your trailer and check the bearings and the tires, I mean, I've actually followed boats down the road where the wheels were like this going down the highway. And I'm like, do you not notice like your tire wear or how it's squatted or sitting? And then they wonder why they're broke down and sitting along the highway all night long trying to get it fixed. It just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That we see that up here with fish houses, because people in Minnesota make fish houses out of anything. I mean,
Right.
that truck topper that was dropped off today for you,
Right.
people make a fish house out of that, and they just they throw something that resembles a wheel and an axle on, and yeah, you'll be driving down Minnesota roads in like November, December, right before ice, and you can see, I mean, the houses are like flopping all over the place because the wheels are barely hanging on. Yeah, Barry buddies are great.
What Vexus is talking about, 2 weeks ago, we had someone dump 2 truckloads of garbage on our farm, right where I fish. And today I rode down to check on it, and someone has taken a pickup truck topper and threw it out in the middle of our yard down there. The windows are smashed out of it. I mean, this thing's just laying upside down right where we go fishing in that now. It's, I don't know. It's unreal how bad it's getting.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because we actually, we were so excited to start talking about your boat shopping experience and backing in boat trailers that I totally forgot. We didn't go through our emails that we had listed for today. So we should probably do that now. So let's do our, there's no voicemail. Nobody called us today. We just got some emails. It's been a while, so people are sending emails.
Vexus brought that up today, and I have trail cams, and I'm thinking about doing that. It's starting to get bad.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. People have zero respect. All right, well, let's take a look at our emails. We got 3 emails. Let's look at what the first email is. Subject is so tasty. Dear Todd, that's to me. I just wanted to write in to let you know how delicious we were. I know we were supposed to be on the fishing trip, and we would have been a perfect meal for lunch on the grill one of the days. All of us in the package were excited for the trip to Minnesota, but, we were left behind. I wanted you to know the real story. I heard him tell his daughter he was going to purposely say he forgot us just so they could have brats at their house. And now you know the rest of the story. Sincerely, the Johnsonville Brats. That's all Joker. These are the brats that he was supposed to bring with on the trip. And I was so hungry for brats. He's like, I'm bringing so many brats. And I was looking forward. I was going to bring my little grill on the boat. Let's grill some brats on the boat. And then, I forgot them. Amazing how that goes. And now we know he forgot them on purpose. Yeah, quick, easy, and yummy. That's right. But did we get that buzzard? No, we did not. Because somebody left the brats behind. Yeah, I always want to put sausage in my mouth. All right, let's take a look at email number 2. Subject, did you know? Dear Cast and Camo, it's been a while since I've written you boys. Did you know I signed a deal with Sitka and I'm going to be a featured speaker at one of their upcoming events? Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. Also, hi Sarah, XOXO, sincerely Jim Bortz. Wow. So he hasn't forgotten about you, Sarah. That's good news. We haven't heard from Bortz in a while, but it sounds like he's doing well. I'm happy to hear that. Hopefully is he in here? He's not. He will not make it tonight. So congratulations, Sarah, for still being on the mind of the one and only dead sexy Jim Bortz, Daddy Bortz. And Daddy Bortz, thank you. What's that?
He may be bear hunting, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. And email number 3, the final one. Dear Eric, subject lost and found. Oh, this could be good. I heard you've been finding treasures on the farmland lately that someone has left behind. Would you say there has been an uptick of trash showing up? Tick, all in capitals. That is very unfortunate, but it's also tickles me with tick being in all caps. Interesting to see your face every time you drive up and see new treasures. Oh, don't forget, gotcha, bitch. Sincerely, the tick. This tick, man, he is nagging. He's nagging you. He's taunting. I think this is considered taunting.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Terrible. So, Marie, I got bit twice this year and had Lyme disease both times. So I've been treated twice this year for Lyme disease.
Marie, the tick has been haunting him for the last few months. And then he calls into the show and he writes into the show just taunting. It's not fair. It's not fair. I don't think I have any audio from him, but
we don't want to hear it anyway. He's not nice.
No, I don't have the audio loaded. Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tick is an asshole for sure, Sarah. I would, one of these days he'll call in and we'll get to have a talk with the tick. And we'll be able to. You're gonna get your revenge, Eric, one of these times.
I might be, JB. Maybe it is the other way around.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're the one with Lyme disease giving it to everybody else.
Yeah.
Stay away. Oh well. All right. Well, that I totally forgot to do the emails, but at least we got to them. And talking about the trash at your farm made me remember that we had an email from the tick talking about the trash. Clearly, he's behind the whole thing. So even if you set up trail cameras, it's going to be pretty difficult to catch a tick on the trail camera. But he's a mastermind. He is a criminal mastermind. This tick is like Al Capone of the tick world.
Yeah.
I want to apologize for him.
The tick should have sent an attachment, Lyme disease, EXE.
That's right. Could have.
Now, don't give the tick any ideas, Ozzy. Jeez.
Oh, I'm pretty sure the tick is already thinking up of new ideas.
Yeah, I'm sure this isn't the last we've heard from the tick.
Oh, I doubt it. Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, gotcha, bitch.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Is there anything you want to cover as far as boats and backing in and loading up? Any tips, tricks, or magic?
No, my biggest thing is if you do have boats and you do have problems backing, and everyone does, everyone goes through this, so it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'd rather see you get someone to take you to a school or someplace, a big parking lot where no one's around, and practice there. It'll make it so much easier, especially on putting pressure on the person you're asking to back you down to the water.
And I would say this is like this public service announcement is not just for certain person or people or sex. Look, the first time when my next door neighbors moved in, it's for any trailer really, because they all back up differently based on the length and whatever. Yeah. It was painful to watch him trying to back up a trailer into their driveway to unload their furniture and all of their stuff when they're moving in. And I actually had to go over and say, would you like help? And he was like, yes, please. And the dude's big. He's 6'4", 300 pounds. So anybody, like you're saying, everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody's going to make mistakes at the beginning when you're learning. It's just practice. So if you, whether you're 6'5", 325 or gamer mama at 310, 75 pounds, everybody can use help. And if you want to learn how to back up a trailer, if you want to learn how to back up the boat, ask somebody, and they're more than likely going to offer to help.
Yeah, and it's easy to learn in a parking lot. A lot easier than doing it at the boat ramp.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I will say, the steepness of the ramp, and if they have ridges in it, makes a big difference too. Because if you're trying to back up an empty trailer where they have the ridges through the ramps, which we do here on the Ohio River, every 6 inches, there's a space about 1.5 inches. So the trailer bounces going down the ramp. Yeah. And if you get that bouncing motion, it's easy for that trailer to go off on its own. So you need to just We have that a lot here. Now, a lot of lakes that I've been to don't have them ridges going through them. But here we have them, and it's pretty bad. And we got angles that are as steep as 40-degree angles here too.
That makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Gamer Mama said it, practice makes perfect. Just keep practicing. You'll get it. It took me years to get comfortable with it. I'm not ashamed to say it. It can be a high stress situation, but just stay calm, go slow. You'll make it. All right. Well, that is everything for tonight. We talked a bunch of stuff. It was fun. No guests tonight, but we still had some fun. Appreciate everybody for coming in. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube, Cast and Camo TV on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and comment. Look us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. You can subscribe to our podcast that way as well. So you can have it on your drive. If you want to go on a long trip, on a fishing trip, you can listen to Cast and Camo the whole way there. And don't forget our sponsors, Texas Select Seasonings, !BBQ, Sea Arc Boats, !Sea Arc, and Deer 30, Deer 30. And we will see you guys next week. Be good or be good at it. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Love you.